Hello, everybody. Welcome back, friends, to The P-LotPodcast. John here, joined once again by the main man himself, Mr. Michael Angelillo. Michael, how we doing, dude? How we feeling after yesterday's Flyer playoff victory?
We are flyered up, is how we're doing. Um, they and the Sixers for now are the only teams that matter. They are the only things that ever mattered. Um, and I don't even really like baseball. So that's where we're at. We're not here to talk about the baseball team until the weekend. And
We
who
can,
knows?
we
Maybe it'll
can,
be so bad that we can't even do it. But we
uh,
we're fired up though. The Philadelphia
let's,
Flyers.
well, there's,
We're talking. Let's talk some puck, man. The Flyers in their first home playoff game in front of fans since 2018. Literally 8 years to the day, the Flyers went in and put together a performance that reminded you of the 2022 NLDS Game 3 first playoff game in Citizens Bank Park in, 11 years. And or yeah, 11 years. And that energy in the Xfinity Mobile Arena last night was absolutely intoxicating. It was incredible. It was
it,
electric. It was
it
awesome.
sounded like, I hate to say- it sounded, it's the acoustics you could tell hear from television. It sounded so loud. It felt like there was like 40,000 people there, not 20,000.
Yeah, no, it was loud. It was raucous. It was everything it was supposed to be. And what a perfect game for it too, you know. You get the scrums, you get the skirmishes, you get the physicality, and then you get a ton of goals, and you end up winning pretty comfortably, all things considered, against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it's fantastic. You take a 3 games to none series lead on the cusp of a sweep in a couple nights back at the Xfinity Mobile Arena, and it's it really is impressive what the Flyers are doing, and it really is punching me in the face with 2022 Phillies vibes at the moment. I'm trying not to like fully go there because it feels way too easy of a pander, but it's just palpable. They're on such a hot run at this point. They're like 21-6-2 in their last how many ever games that is, and they're just dominating. They're dominating. They're barely giving up goals. Vladar's playing out of his mind. The defense, Jamie Drysdale is totally playing out of his mind right now. The top pairing with Sanheim and Ristolainen have been incredible. Cam York's had a really, really great series. It's just everyone is contributing, and they talk about how close the group is and how tight everybody is, and you can really feel that in the energy that they play with and the way they want to stand up for each other and throw the body around and block shots and sacrifice stuff to just for the betterment of the team. And you just see it. It's people wanting to be patient but also knowing when to be aggressive. And it was really nice to see. Not obviously you win 3-0 in game two. To say that, oh, it was a nice bounce back would be kind of crazy, but there were aspects of game two I felt, and I'm sure you agree, of the Flyers, going full trap, full 90s Devils, like full on parking the bus to just get out of there with a win because they knew that the Penguins were going to struggle to score a couple, and they were just kind of on their heels and playing D the whole time. And we knew that that was going to be a recipe for disaster, and they had to bring the intensity back up and control the flow of the game in their end. And it's exactly what they did last night. They survived an early flurry from the Penguins where they got a goal, but they were able to persevere and really control the game for pretty much the rest of it. Keeping the puck down on their end, getting good opportunities, getting goals, and shutting down their chances, their golden ones. With good sticks, good positioning, physicality, and then Vladar coming up big on the back end. So it was It was truly about a perfect a game as you could have. It was really, really awesome, that stadium environment, and it's hard not to be super fired up right now. It's hard not to be really excited, you know, and getting ready to want to look ahead. But what were your thoughts on last night and how the Flyers have looked thus far?
So I would say the since the Olympic break, we obviously we talked about this before. They made a lot of wholesale changes, I think, to how they approach their attack, how they approach their defense. Um, I think they've been running this system all year. It's just that they just got better players now. So shocker, you're gonna look
Yeah,
better when you got better. You got you pick up two speedy, big, skilled guys in Tyson Forster. I know Tyson's been there since the beginning,
he's hurt though, you
but
know.
like he was hurt for 2/3 of the season, and when the Flyers were playing well to start the year, Tyson was a big part of that. And then they
Yeah,
really started to fall off when he tore his tricep. Right,
yeah,
he's my personally my favorite guy on the team. I love what he gives you, like both ways. I think, and he's proved every year. I think if you're looking for like a Sean Couturier, like future replacement, like that two-way guy, it's probably him. And then Porter Martone, like Michael, this is unprecedented that I've seen in Philly sports, where a guy they've picked a year ago comes in near the end of the year and makes a huge impact. This is like it's almost like they added a 30 to 40 goal scorer type player right
yeah.
at the end of the year.
It's like a September call up in baseball, but like it's someone that's just one of the immediately becomes one of the best players on your team. Like it's just the what he's been able to do, and like he didn't score for once, last night's game, but um, it just he has a real good nose for the puck, and you could tell when like goal scorers have a nose for it and like a certain aggression to be able to be willing to take hard shots constantly. It's it's a good thing. It really is a good thing. He's going to score a lot of goals in this league. Um, but it's nice to see how quickly everybody embraced him on the team too. Like, not that they'd be like standoffish with him or anything, but you could definitely. It's not impossible that a player like that, coming straight from college, could take some time to adjust and being a little like uncomfortable, big bright lights, NHL, whatever. And the way that they've kind of taken him in, and the way that you know they've made him feel comfortable, as long as to go along with his great confidence that you see that he plays with. It really is a good recipe for something special. But they, I just their power play has gotten so much better with the addition of Martone and being able to kind of move some guys down. And the penalty kill has also been significantly better since, especially since the playoffs have started. I want to shout out, some maligned veterans that, well, we have maligned on this podcast, and everybody in the city is maligned. And, you know, guys that I didn't even expect to play well in this playoffs. First up, like Rasmus Ristolainen, we were big on the trade train of trading him in each of the last two seasons and getting some draft picks. Not really seeing him as a part of the future, expiring contract eventually. Like it's
Playoff
just
Risto,
one of those things. And
real.
and playoff, down the stretch he played really well, and in the playoffs he's played tremendously. I keep jokingly saying to Nick, Gene Segura, where it's a longtime veteran that's pretty well respected in the league, but has never played in the playoffs, and they get in towards the end of their career, or like you're just older, and you're showing out, and you're making sacrificial plays, you're making big plays and big moments, and
The
just
play he made
constantly coming
without
up
his
big.
stick, and he.
I mean, the one play where he like stacked the pads himself and blocked a shot, that was a pretty golden opportunity off a chance and like an odd man rush for Pittsburgh. But obviously he picks up the goal last night, and it's just it's really nice to see how well he's played amid health issues and trade rumors and what have you. To just be really, really good. And then the two longest tenured Flyers, um, Sean Couturier and Travis Konechny, they have been really, really good this series. Konechny was awesome last night. Had some chances, couldn't score, but he played with a really good set of physicality and energy. Obviously, that's something you don't really not get with him ever. But like he was really, really good with the puck last night, getting pucks deep and moving plays along in the neutral zone, not turning it over, just creating offense really, and making good plays on the defensive end as well. He played, I thought, his best game of the series last night. And then Sean Couturier, who's been like, you know, arguably one of the team MVPs in the first three games here, despite the fact he's not putting up any goals or anything. It's just he, as you know, everyone gave him so much crap being the captain, worst captain in Flyers history, like all that sort of stuff, like very negative stuff for a guy that it's one of those guys that's falls under that category of victim of Philadelphia athlete that's been here for too long without being a part of a championship team. That happens a lot, especially bad teams being the face of bad teams. See Aaron Nola, see like Reese Hoskins, see Donovan, like those all these sort of players. Eventually, you get turned on if um, you're just here for too long. And Sean Couturier was absolutely turned on by almost the entire fan base. And again, like to an extent, deservedly so. Like not maybe as visceral of attacks that he would get, but he just wasn't playing good hockey. Wasn't He hasn't been the player that he was before the back injury, and it's just tough when injuries can really derail a career. And it's a guy that would have aged, I think, super super well if he didn't have a pretty brutal injury. But he's fully like back to you know, 2020 Selke level Coots, where, he maybe doesn't have the speed and the scoring that he had earlier in his career, and especially like that 2018 prime season where he was like, wow, he's really good. But he has been tremendous defensively. They give him a lot of bulk against the Crosby line, and he's brought a lot of physicality, like throwing the body around a ton, always hearing a big boards crash after he's finishing his checks. And he's created a lot of offense, even though they haven't fully cashed in with that line yet, but he's really threatened. And that fourth line is playing significant minutes in games and shutting down Penguins' chances and providing energy for offensive chances. You think of the first goal in game two, that goal that Porter Martone scored was a direct result of the fourth line and Couturier controlling the puck, hemming in the Penguins defense, getting them tired so you could go for a line change. And then while you went for the line change, while they were gassed, you were able to get your studs out there and create an opportunity and, get a goal out of it. Couturier hit the post that eventually swung around and led to the Ristolainen goal. So he's been awesome. The whole team's been great. They're playing against the refs out there too, to an extent, and they're
Well,
really holding their own.
listen. In pro sports, this has been going on for decades now. When you have a series like the Flyers are in, where it's a complete laugher, they want to extend the series because it's drawing huge ratings. This isn't like the Flyers are the top overall seed playing like the Blue Jackets. Like
No,
they don't. There's no like no one cares how long
there's
this
a
series.
lot. There's a lot of pull for this series for sure.
But the physicality of this series for the opening round series, we look at obviously the best one is Avs. Sorry, Stars Wild, is the probably
I
the
would say, yeah, yeah,
overall one, right?
sure.
In terms of who's in it, and then
Matchup, yeah.
matchup, and then probably I would say after that,
Maybe Buffalo, Boston, or Tampa,
Buffalo.
Montreal. One of
Yeah,
those two
but the
series,
Flyers Pens is a classic NHL rivalry that spans 40 plus years, right?
right?
The two expansion teams. Um, oh, sorry, there's breaking news. Mike Vrabel just basically just regurgitated everything he said yesterday or 2 days ago about the Rossini gate, and he's stepping away from the team Saturday to spend time with his family.
we'll talk about a little bit of that more later. But yeah, the the physicality has really it's played, I think, into the Flyers' favor, even though I do think they're getting hosed with some bad calls or whatever. I just think the Pens are old and their young guys aren't like good enough to clearly carry a team without extremely high levels of production from Crosby and
Who are
Malkin
their
and then
young guys?
Carlson.
Mantha's
Yeah,
29 years old.
I guess like how
Mantha's the same age as Travis Konechny.
no, I know. He's been in the league for a while, but like uh some of their guys are a little older. I guess it's not young guys as much as it's more
Do you remember when we
not
complained?
super old guys. Like
Do you remember
there's
when
that
we
group. Hold on,
complained
there's that group
nonstop of
of
like, why aren't the Flyers tanking? Why aren't they getting rid of all the old guys on the team? Yada 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 yada.
sure, yeah,
Listen, no one was taking Sean Couturier because of his contract. We knew that. It was pointless complaining about him being on the team. You're
yeah,
stuck with him. Then it was Sanheim and Konechny. Michael, they're both under 30.
yeah. No, the
They
Flyers
would
are a
be the younger
significantly younger
guys on the
team.
Penguins. The
Yeah, they're a
Penguins are the
significantly
team
younger
that should
team.
be blowing it up, not the Flyers.
No, yeah, the Penguins. I mean, they definitely overperformed their expectations. And listen, you got one last ride with like Crosby and Malkin, who are still really, still pretty damn good players. Letang has like completely fallen off a cliff. He's not very good, but Eric Carlson still's got some juice. And
See,
then, Ricard Raquel, Anthony Mantha, Brian Rust, all guys that I guess they're not super young, but they're, in the prime of their careers, age prime of their
they're going to
careers.
be very desired in free agency by teams that
Sure,
already have
sure.
established stars, or a team like, let's see, you're going to laugh when I say this now, a team like the Flyers that has like a bazillion young guys who's like, okay, probably could use another couple veterans that are like skilled and not like, goons,
No, sure. And yeah, your point makes sense, but that physicality, I think it's not wearing them down a ton, but it's like they're not responding well to it. The Flyers have so much energy constantly, and it doesn't matter what's going on. The Penguins, they're just even their onslaughts don't feel super threatening at times because they're not actually getting the pucks to the net. Like everything's just a little off, wide, gets redirected wide, like because of the Flyers' good positioning and defensive, prowess to this point, but also it feels like the vibes of the two teams are extremely different. I know that some of the analytics stuff will say the Penguins are actually like they're getting some more chances in volume, which I think watching it feels that way too. It's not like, the Flyers get ahead and they're trapping it up, parking the bus. The puck's in their end a lot of the time. They're D'ing up. But it still just feels like while Vladar has made a few more bigger saves than Skinner has to just, I think, make more super high quality chances. Vladar's got a handful like, oh wow, what a great save by Vladar. But I think the general, like, that was a scary chance. Even still edges out to the Flyers, and the Penguins just have a higher volume of opportunities that, are normal as opposed to something being pretty threatening. Like if the a couple up and down rushes, the Flyers might get a few more high level chances. I'd say
Well, see,
the way
the
the
thing with
series is going.
the thing with the Penguins though is, yeah,
Right.
that's the point. The point of the trap is you're letting them into the zone, but you're
Hmm.
not giving them the necessary space that you need to get high quality chances.
Yeah.
And if you do give up a high quality chance, there is someone there in front of the net that will not let the opposing team get it like a rebound.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like an easy tap in.
Yeah.
And that takes physicality, that takes commitment. Not being afraid
Yeah.
of getting hurt. Um,
Yeah.
right. You look at the Penda. One thing I noticed. So last night, my concern with the Flyers' offense was going to be that. Listen, I'm getting really into like hockey analytics. The
Sure.
the Flyers exclusively take all their chances from the slot,
Yeah.
right? So what did the Penguins do last night, Michael? They load up the slot. They put all five of their guys on their end into the slot, or as much as space allowed.
Yeah.
And how the Flyers counter it? Well, you had Risto take a shot from the point for a goal, and you had Nick Seeler take a shot from the point, and it's a goal because Skinner's just not good handling, traffic, like that high traffic saves,
Yeah, I mean, Zegras scores from the face-off dot. You get Kate scoring like along the goal line. They didn't score directly down the middle. You're right. Like couple face-off dot shots, a point shot, and a goal line nice move there. So you're right. Flyers got to get creative for it. I know when they're on the power play, they want to hit that middle pass, but if it's not there, you got to work the corners like you did and get a few pucks towards the net, and that's how you break through. And it's exactly what they
Do
did.
you so are we so you know how we talk about what was like the turnaround point for the team, right?
Sure.
So I think for the Eagles, it was when they won and the Flyers are not winning the Stanley Cup. Not to be a buzzkill, I'm just saying they're not. And you're not winning the Stanley Cup.
And a goalie gets hot.
Because they're not better than the Hurricanes. They're not better than them.
We'll see.
Well,
We'll
I
see.
know they got to play the game. I'm just saying, honestly, this.
Maybe Ottawa can get a game tonight. Make it a series.
Anyway, so for the 2024 the turnaround was getting shellacked by the Bucks in Tampa with basically the Eagles like
Sure.
taxi, almost like the taxi squad because
Right.
of all the injuries they had entering that game. For the Phillies in 2022, like what, firing Girardi? Is that like what
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
right?
Exactly right.
The Sixers haven't had that moment yet because they really, just
It's all just bad. So
it's just pain. But I guess, and then 2020, if the Phillies trade Turner, the ovation, I guess, sure,
yeah,
why not?
Harper coming back and stuff.
Harper
Yeah.
coming back, whatever. Is the Flyers Carnival fiasco the turnaround for this
That might have
team?
been the negative
That
catalyst, not the like the yeah. Yeah, it honestly felt like that. And they keep circling back to that California trip, which happened in that like second weekend in March. And those two things I think feel like a turning point for the team internally too, and they definitely feel that way outside of it. Um, hey, listen, man, you just got to ride it out. You just got to have fun with it and enjoy it, because clearly we know that these opportunities can be sparse, and it's we're getting a full treat of the playoff hockey experience, after waiting for so long. But let's talk about the Sixers a little bit as well. They got hammered in game one, and we were worried, like, well, that's exactly what it was. And they come out in game two, they go up early, then they go down big early, and from like that moment on, you get takeovers from VJ Edgecombe and big shots from Paul George and a
oh my lord,
legitimate physical intensity pickup from the entire team defensively, and everyone was contributing, everyone was hitting shots, and it culminates with like a maxi takeover at the end, and you end up winning the game by double digits and really going into a tough environment to steal a game already down 1-0, and you took it to them to an extent. You really did take it to them, especially in that second half. And you split in Boston. That's what you can only ask for in a 7-game series at times, is to just split the first two on the road. And you're coming back home. Embiid is like looming. We don't know exactly. We'll talk, maybe he's back for game three. Feels like game four might be more realistic. Um, where I'm looking at this, split at home. Split at home and turn it into a best out of three, and you got to find a way to win two and just give yourself a shot. So you
it
already
would
did some of the
be
hard part.
it would honestly, I think, would be one of the biggest upsets in NBA playoff history in the first round if the Sixers beat the Celtics. And I know what you're probably going to think. Well, John, the Sixers have players. They were injured all season. This is why they're playing the Celtics. It's not because, well, dude, I still think it
No,
would
no,
be.
no, no. You're 100% right. The Sixers are completely overmatched. Like their goodwill of what the team was kind of went out the window over the end of the season, basically. Um, Listen, we have, like, I would say 4-star level players, and the Celtics really only have 2, but everyone else, and you could argue that their stars are better than our stars, we just have more of them. Um, Everyone else, it's a clear-cut, full-blown advantage to Boston. The coach, clear-cut, full-blown advantage to Boston. Like, it's well, we are overmatched. The Celtics were minus 1,000 before the series to win it. Like, that is a massive underdog. Sixers were like plus 700 to get out of the first round. So that is you're right. It is very steep. It's a very, very deep underdog. And, you know, we were worried they weren't even going to be able to take a game, man, especially after game one. So the fact that they were able to battle and fight, it gets me in there a little bit. It gets me to believe that there's a way, and there is a way to get into some of the X's and O's of it all. If you watch the first 2 games, you can see very clearly the Celtics' plan against pick and rolls are to play like crazy drop coverage. The center, whether it's Keita, whether it's Vucevic, they are deep in the paint when Maxey or Edgecombe or George are handling the ball, and their big is setting a screen, whether that be Drummond, whether that be Bona, whether that be Barlow. Like, they set the screen and they are deep, deep in drop coverage. And in game one, the Sixers missed a lot of those shots. Maxey didn't seem super comfortable. Edgecombe couldn't really hit a jumper. And in game two, it was the complete opposite. Edgecombe made 6 threes, and Paul George hit a couple big shots out of that stretch. Maxey obviously had the big threes late off that. And that whole action, if the Celtics are going to continue to play the drop coverage, which they do like to play, they'll live and die with having, I guess, hoping the Sixers can't just hit a ton of those pull-up jumpers all game, and it's pretty valid. It's a hard thing to consistently be good at with a limited amount of guys that can actually partake in it. Um, but I do believe that they do have the talent to go do it, whether that be in Maxey's hands, Edgecombe's hands, or George's hands. And then, when Embiid comes back, his ability to shoot is also going to be huge because you want to play that big drop coverage. That'll leave the pick and pop wide open for Joel, and he's got to be able to knock down some threes too. Um, I think limiting kind of Kelly Oubre's touches at times, because the Celtics are very happy with Kelly Oubre shooting threes as their end play of offense. They'll take that every time. Um, so, to be able to surround with shooters as much as you can and to rely on your stars to knock down their pull-up jumpers because you're going to have room, especially with good screens being set. There's a path there offensively to succeed against this Boston team. They're not totally impenetrable. It's just a hard way to live and die by. And it'll be interesting to see how they adjust, because they killed us within the first game and we fried them in the second game with it. So we'll see if they'll continue running that drop coverage, especially when Embiid gets back to put some more threats. But, you watch it. Watch the center stand all the way back there and see if they tweak it and have them blitz the screen a little more and put pressure on Maxey and Edgecombe to have to blow by and get to the rim. It'll be interesting, but you can watch and find a lot of clips on Twitter of the Sixers, like, bulk of their offense living out of that action, and did it really well in game 2.
So, yeah. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. The Sixers do, when they play Boston at home, take out, not counting the bubble, they do win games. Their issue is just winning in Boston has always been the problem.
Yeah, even though in 23 they won there twice, but
No.
it's just the Celtics. It's not. We say it all the time. Embiid said it, the big quote, and he's right, man. It's not a rivalry. They do just kick our ass. We haven't won a playoff series against the Celtics in 40 years, man. Like, that is 45 years, I should say. That's brutal. That is brutal. And you know, it's never really like you're never better either. You're always the inferior team, and it always shows through. So, here, listen, we're not the belief system on the Flyers getting out of the first round, the Sixers getting out of the first round are completely opposite ends of the spectrum, obviously. But the only thing that we can hope for is, Embiid gets back soon and you just keep hitting your shots and playing a strong effort. Like, listen, if they lose in 5, that would suck, but it's like if you lose in 5 with some dignity and with some fight, you can, like, stomach it to an extent, you know? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You don't wanna roll over and lose 4 times by 30 points, and it's like, "Okay, we just didn't even belong." You wanna
right.
look like you belong out there.
Yeah, I just I just don't have any faith in Daryl
And you
Morey.
probably shouldn't, you know? Like, you probably shouldn't
You
have
know,
any faith in it all.
to actually build a bench like the Sixers. He's been here for how long? Has completely failed miserably building a bench.
Mhm.
Where like it's pretty obvious, Michael. You look at the Celtics, you look at the Thunder. Those are the teams you want to emulate in team building, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. We're trying to do star hunting, and like, what are we going to do with these extra picks? Are we going to trade for like Paolo Banchero? He's not going to come here.
No, and, like, that's not what you wanna do either. Like, it's
That's
just
what like he's claiming. Oh, we're going to bring in another star. Okay.
well, listen, we'll get
We'll
to
talk
off-season
about
talk when we get to the
why
off-season.
we'll talk about general managers that are not very well liked in the city Saturday. Now,
Yeah.
let's move on to the main event, the NFL, the 2026 NFL draft. Michael, let's just address the pink elephant in the room right now. Um, the Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel drama that we talked about last show, and it's a I think we kind of came to the conclusion that it was probably going to be a nothing burger because Diana Rossini stepped down from the Athletic, and what we saw, that was it. And Vrabel would probably wait. This it'll be like a couple weeks in the news cycle, then it'll just go away, and no one's going to talk about it. It'll just be something we joke about whenever the
Right.
Patriots are brought up, like with like
Yeah.
Belichick with like Spygate. People
No,
bring
sure. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, boy were we wrong.
yeah, yeah,
Boy were we totally wrong on that.
yeah, some new stuff comes out. This affair has been going on for
6
6
years.
years to this point. There is, like, a non-zero chance that there could be an illegitimate son involved. Um, there could be it's just non-zero. It's not this is not to say it's likely, it's not to say it's whatever. It is just not far from a guarantee. But what is a guarantee is that she did name her son Michael after myself.
Not after
Kidding.
you.
After you would presume like Vrabel, maybe you could connect some dots there. Um, it's tough, man. It's really, really tough. It's very sad for both, like, families involved with this. This is just I can't imagine this. This seems like hell on earth. Um, but it's really something the NFL ought to look into, I do think. I think that a
I
significant affair for numerous years between a top, like, league reporter and a head coach is just not something that can go unnoticed, and, like, we've talked about the AJ Brown thing at nauseum. It feels like he's gonna get moved post June 1st to the Patriots, and it's just like, for 2 years now, basically, we've had her name attached to a lot of the AJ Brown drama, and again, this is not to say that it's not true or not, like, completely credible, but I think the proportion that it gets blown to, um could potentially have been influenced by some external factors, and that is something that is not good for the league. That's not something that's not good for players. That's something that's not good for obviously for fans and the product, on an outside view. So, I really think it would be wise to look into it and see how deep it really runs, especially because their argument was denying it, and then you get six-year-old pictures that pop up. Um both parties are just pretty shitty people, I'd say. What they're doing is shitty. What they're doing is wrong and effed up to their families. And like these two shitty people, it's just they do a lot of bad for other. There's a lot of negative byproducts coming from this. It's been talked about how this is going to make you know lives for women in the industry that much more difficult, and it's true.
You
You
think
opened
so?
up a whole I do. I think a lot of people are gonna every time there's a woman reporter, I think the blowback is gonna be, "Oh, are we sure they're not sleeping with Sean McVay? Are we sure they're not,"
Yeah, but that's
like,
just people being. That's like people who are scumbags saying that. Like Michael,
I no, listen,
you and I
I
both
think
know
that's
that we
gonna
do
get
not think
loud.
that.
No, of course not. I don't think it. We don't think it, but I just think that there are people that are gonna think it and be louder about it, and it's gonna get, like, headlines on Barstool and stuff constantly, and, like, that's the sort of stuff that it's not good for your league, it's just not good at all. Um, and I think that's why that was, like, a pretty selfish move on Diana Rossini's part, and then obviously on Mike Vrabel's part, you wanna make yourself the proclaimed, like, I call on women first during my press conferences because I know how hard it is for them to get in the industry guy, and now you wanna go do this, and it's like, you don't think this
Right.
is gonna
Yeah.
have a
So
negative
I
impact?
have some opinions on Mike Vrabel I want to share,
Yeah, it's
and I'm
scumbag, you know?
and I'm basing this off of what we're seeing is true.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel is a classic case of who would you call a phony?
Yeah.
He is somebody who has kind of built his brand on being this, like, I'm Mr. Accountable, like, I'm this molder of men, I'm a great leader. And if what happened is true, and I'm going to get into some of the details, it's going to it's going to make you feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it sucks.
He's a scumbag who honestly should, like, I hate to say this, he should not be allowed to be. He should not be out in public for his sake, personally.
Yeah.
So what came out today was obviously this relationship. This is what it's a relationship, Michael. They're in love with each other, right? They're obvious. Like
Yeah.
you're laughing.
6-year affair is pretty devious work, I have to
Yeah,
say.
this is
That is
they're
an
in love with each
involvement.
other. You see the
Seems like
way
it.
she talks about Mike. She's well, one of the parties is in love with the other, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Diana Rossini is in love with Mike Vrabel. I don't know if
Seems
Mike
like it.
Vrabel. I don't know if Mike Vrabel's in love with Diana Rossini. I
6
don't
years,
know
man, it's a lot of time.
because he's kept his mouth shut, unlike her. But
Yeah.
Michael, Jen Vrabel, Mike Vrabel's wife, is a breast cancer survivor. She was battling breast cancer, and he was
Over these
busy
years.
fooling around with Diana Rossini behind her back.
No, it's gross, to put it frank. Like, it's
It's what
gross.
you would call morally, unless his wife's allowing him to do this, right? Then it's different,
Yes,
I
unless they're
suppose.
polyamorous, I guess it plays, which
But for a guy
Mike
that
Vrabel
considers
doesn't
himself
strike
this,
me as the
like, staunch
polyamorous type.
Christian guy, oh, is he
Yeah,
really
no.
polyamorous?
Yeah, I'm not thinking
I
he's
could
super
see, like, Sean
polyamorous.
McVay being polyamorous. I could see that,
Dude,
or like Mike McDonald, or like, no, Mike. No, Mike.
we can't do no.
I could. See,
We gotta skip
sorry,
this part.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We gotta skip this part.
You're like
Um,
this. Just go like this. But
we cannot we
Warrior go
cannot
like this. Cut it out. No,
we
stop.
cannot
Stop.
we cannot speculate on
We're not speculating on the romantic
the
lives of other
polyamory
coaches.
of
Of
NFL
other coaches.
coaches.
No, but like, no, but like, and then he's like, dude, how is there all these pictures of them together?
It's pretty bizarre these were getting sat on for so long. That was pretty interesting. But
I don't know if the PI is Diana Rossini's husband who hired it, because why would you have a child with her if you're taking pictures of this?
yeah, no, it's pretty bizarre.
Why would you stay married to her? I think it's
Yeah, no, I just think someone found this, sat on it. It's hard to speculate who it was, but it's tough, man. We'll see if anything further comes out from it. Like Vrabel, big
well, Vrabel
theatrics
just
at the
announced that
pressers.
stepping away on Saturday from the team to go to counseling. And when asked when he was going to come back, he said he doesn't know.
Whatever, man. And this
And
is
then when he was,
so,
and then when he, the first question he got asked, he basically ran out of the room.
yeah, no, this is super dramatic from him. Very theatrical, where it's like, I just can't feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? How can I remotely feel sorry for you when this is your actions? You're asking me to feel sympathy. You quite literally did it totally to yourself. So he deserves it, for sure. But we'll see. We do have a draft. We have a draft that is actually starting. It is 8 o'clock on the dot. John, I haven't done a ton into the NFL draft. It's one of those things that kind of it like sort of kind of sneaks up on you because the sports calendar is very busy this time of year. But I tend to try to, tune in with some Eagles related stuff. I'm not super keen, but I do have some mock drafts pulled up. I do have some knowledge about some of these prospects. But yeah, what do you got for us?
I'm sorry. Sorry, I was pulling up reading something
Oh, you're
here.
good. Just what do you got for us with the NFL draft tonight?
Oh, well, I think we all know who's going number one. It's going to be Fernando Mendoza.
Sure.
After that, I think it is a legit crapshoot because for the last week, I think a lot of people thought David Bailey, the DN from Texas Tech, would go number two to the Jets. Now I'm seeing Arvell Reese is back in play. So I don't know, Michael. I would say there's probably 7 or 8 guys right now in this draft who I think can be impact players, and then everyone else is literally it's a question mark.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a couple positions too of some of these great impact players that kind of gets a little ignored at times, for the sake of positional value, and could cause them to slip a little bit and just cause them to fall in the laps of some lucky teams later than they probably should go because, you know, they don't play offensive tackle or wide receiver, or, corner. So yeah, outside of Mendoza, I have Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft pulled up. After Mendoza, he's got the Jets taking David Bailey. Like you said, it's still going to be a pretty high debate between the Texas Tech and the Ohio State defensive players. I I really like Arvell Reese. I like his versatility. Um, this is something that I think plays well in today's NFL, being able to have a guy that can kind of move from off the ball to edge. You think of the way the Eagles kind of utilized Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell last year. You think about the way Micah Parsons gets utilized at times where they drop him off and move him around and be able to be versatile. And, if you can cover for a second there too, it helps. And it's something that I think it's super it's super nice to have, and he has the Saints trading up with the Cardinals and acquiring Arvell Reese at the third overall pick after the Jets take David Bailey. So, what are your thoughts on the Reese versus Bailey sort of debate?
Well, I personally, my thoughts on them, they're two totally different players.
Right.
David Bailey, I would say, is more in the mold of I was trying to think of some comps for him for people, for some guys. The guy that he kind of watching him play, he reminds me a lot of like a Daniil Hunter, 4-3. Like he's a 4-3 D end. You
Hmm.
know, he's not going to drop back in coverage. He can't play like that. That stand up edge rusher. He's going to put his hand in the ground, but he's a game wrecker, Michael. He wrecked the
Yeah,
game against Oregon. He was playing on Texas Tech. Their I don't know what you would call their D line. Their like NIL D line. The not the $1 million D line, but like the $10 million D line.
sure, sure.
He was the star. Like he clearly was like the best of a bunch of really good defensive linemen for Texas Tech.
Yeah.
That was the reason Texas Tech was good this year. By the way, was their
Hmm.
defense, mainly their D line. Um, We talked about this the last show. That's the kind of guy teams want to like take really high in the draft. You know,
Yeah,
because he's kind of like I would say he's like the surest of the surest things in terms of edge rushers. But
yeah,
you know,
I hear you.
and I think for the Jets, even though him and Hutchinson are different, Hutchinson's way bigger than David Bailey. I think the concept's the same. We're gonna start our rebuild by taking like an
Game
edge
changing
rusher,
edge, you know.
and then we'll build out the rest of our defense that way. And Michael, the Jets defense was putrid last year.
Yeah.
Zero ints.
No, it makes a lot of sense for the Jets to go defense here. And then Arvell Reese. Give me a little bit on him.
So obviously, everyone people talk about. Oh, geez, they're bringing all these friggin' Steelers out on the
Yeah,
draft.
whatever, man. Who cares? They
Anyway,
brought out the rapist.
yeah. Anyway, anyway.
Guy.
Sorry. So our voice is interesting. No one knows if he's an edge rusher or a Mike linebacker or inside backer. This is my this
Are you a
is
little
my take.
concerned with that?
I'm gonna stump for Alvaro Reese going top three. And when I explain to you my reasoning, I think you'll be intrigued by what I'm about to tell you. This is good. Like this is like Theo
Sure.
Ash like level thinking here. If you look at the trend of the NFL when it comes to defense, it seems that a lot of teams now are trying to take concepts or even outright just use the Fangio style defense.
Sure.
Mike McDonald from the Seahawks, a lot of his concepts are Fangio concepts. The Eagles 2 years ago, the inventor of the defense was the Eagles D coordinator. You know,
Right.
right? So you look at that Fangio defense, Michael. Who do you think? Who's the most important player in that defense? That style of defense,
You need a really good Mike linebacker.
who can rush the passer, play the
Cover.
run, and cover.
Yep.
What does Arvell Reese excel at? He rushes the passer, he stops the run, and he covers.
Yeah.
Zach, imagine Zach Bond on like steroids. That's Arvell Reese.
Sure.
Is
Yeah,
that
no,
in
it's
a
a nice
week in
pick.
in a weak quarterback draft? Do you think a player like that should go top three? I think he should go top three. If defense is changing and you want to get ahead of the curve, then you should draft an Arvell Reese.
Yeah. Cool little nugget here. As Daniel Jeremiah has Arvell Reese going to the Saints via a trade up. Did you know that the Saints have made 25 draft trades since 2008, and every time they've traded up? Crazy, right? So potentially maybe that happens. He also said that Brandon Staley could be reminded of Leonard Floyd a little bit too, a guy that's kind of moved back and forth from edge and interior. So that'll also be a good comp there. Next pick I'm seeing with the Titans. I've seen two players mocked to the Titans pretty exclusively in this draft, and it's either been Jeremiah Love or Sonny Styles. And this particular mock draft's got Sonny Styles going fourth to the Titans, and a lot of people, you want to talk about a Robert Saleh led defense and what is makes that engine go. That is Fred Warner. That is a Mike linebacker that, like you said, does everything. Can rush the passer via blitzing, can fill in the run, and can cover like a total freak. And Sonny Styles from Alabama fits that mold really nicely, and I think makes a ton of sense for the Titans, especially for that Robert Saleh defense. If not Jeremiah Love, he has going next to the Giants, and I think I see the vision there. You know, getting a dynamic running back for your young quarterback to help out, get some explosive plays from the backfield there, and I do think that it would make sense, but I think the Titans really need to shore up their defense before leaning into getting some weapons for Cam Ward this early in a draft when you have the guy of a caliber, Sonny Styles. So, what do you think about Styles?
Well, Sonny Styles is, he's an athletic freak of nature.
Right.
He was he was like the quote unquote combine guy. Like Jordan
Yeah.
Davis was the combine guy in 2022, and the Eagles took him probably above where he should have been picked.
Hmm.
I can see that with Sonny Styles. Look, you look at the Titans. Robert Saleh is the head coach. It feels like a joint package though with Dable.
Yeah.
And you look at the Titans. I I don't know. They really need O line help, Michael. Cam Ward got the tar beaten out of him
Yeah.
last. He got his
Well,
butt.
isn't this like a kind of a not super big O-line draft? Like there's not like you know, like a Joe Alt or Lane
I agree.
Johnson.
No, I agree. So I would say though, they traded Tavondre Sweat and got Jermaine Johnson. I don't think they're going to go edge. So
Hmm.
Styles makes a lot of sense. The thing though with Jeremiah Love is I don't know, man. If I'm like the Titans GM and I'm like, okay, this is like a 3-year rebuild draft plan, man. Could you imagine like a triplets version of Jeremiah Love, Cam Ward, and like Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah, no, like that could be
Doesn't that sound kind of fun? Does that sound
that'd be
fun to
pretty
you?
scary, man. Yeah, that'd be pretty frightening. Yeah, that could be part of their vision. It really they'll have the control there to see which way they want to go. Um, if the Giants take Jeremiah Love, I do think it's a pretty fairly good pick. Like this is a guy that could, you could argue has the most ability in this draft. Like, if you were making a big board, there's a shot that he's won in a lot of them off, pure ability. There's obviously risk with taking a running back this high in the draft. This franchise in particular knows not that Saquon was bad or anything for them, but it just didn't move the needle enough for you, taking a running back that high. And, and that's the argument of positional value where it's like maybe the Giants shouldn't have done it because they didn't have the infrastructure. And you can argue that the Giants have a much better infrastructure this time around. And I tend to agree that, um, you know, 2018 to now, the Giants got a little bit more going for them on both sides of the ball. Really, they got some really nice players. And if you want to help out with Jackson Dart, I think getting a really good running back like Jeremiah Love can be very fruitful, and also just pairing him along with Cam Scatabo when he comes back from injury. Who knows what he's going to look like post injury? But in theory, let's say he gets pretty close to what he was his rookie year.
Well,
I think that's a pretty scary backfield. Don't you agree?
yeah. Here's the thing though with the Giants is to me, I look at with the Giants though, they need help at wide receiver.
And with the first pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza. Shocker.
Shocker,
Anyways, go ahead.
shocking. Anywho, sorry. Yeah, I could. I mean, I could. I don't know. I speak for the Giants. John Harbaugh came from Baltimore and the Eagles. They never prioritized taking a running back in the first round. He did. They never. They didn't take a running back in the first round when he was with the Ravens. Nor did they Eagles take one when he was on the Eagles, learning under Andy Reid.
Sure.
It seems kind of bizarre to me that they would kind of break that rule for Jeremiah Love. I like Jeremiah Love a lot. I think he's going
Do
to
you
be a
think it would
very
make more sense for them to take a receiver?
yes. I would say receiver, or if Sonny Styles is available, they want him. You know, they've kind of put themselves. I think that's the position. Oh, if we can't get A, we'll take B. You know,
Right.
I
Right.
think I think they're going to take either Sonny Styles or Jeremiah Love at 5, and I have a good idea of who they're going to take at number 10, the pick they acquired when they traded Dexter Lawrence to
Hmm.
the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah. Then we get a little flurry here. The Browns shoring up their offensive line fully. They had a full flip of their O line, and They cap it off with drafting Spencer Fano from Utah, offensive tackle. They're it's really interesting, the offensive line in this draft where there's prospects that I think a lot of people have some question marks on, but you know, teams are always just going to want to draft in the trenches. We know more than most, but a team like Cleveland, whether your answer is Shador or it's going to be whoever is around next year, probably more likely the latter. Regardless, you're going to want them to come in to a situation at some point with a semblance of an offensive line. We saw how much it derails everybody. It's a classic. It's nothing more common than a bad team struggling because of a bad O line, and you know it's just with this draft where there's no like total slam dunks and you're getting all the way to 6 without one, it just requires like you just kind of got to hit. You got to get lucky. Whether they take Fano, whether they take uh my Goa Maui, I
Francis
not sure
Malaga.
Malaga, yeah,
Malaga
or
would, I think Malaga should be the first O
Caden
lineman
Proctor. Regardless, like those will
off the board.
probably be the first 3 linemen taken.
I agree. You look at Cleveland; they really haven't had a good offensive tackle since Joe Thomas. Um, like a truly elite offensive tackle. I think Malaga is probably the best tackle prospect they would drafted since Joe Thomas,
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy if you think about it, since Joe Thomas is in the Hall of Fame.
yeah.
Um, no, I think that's a smart pick. I wouldn't rule out maybe Caleb Downs because of the Ohio State connection,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
the
the pick
Jets.
is in for the Jets.
Yes,
We'll see. We'll see who they take. But no, yeah, I agree with you, man. I do think that Caleb Downs could fit too, but probably would just be smarter to battle the trenches. I think
I would
Downs could be a
agree.
potential fit for the Giants too.
I thought about Francis Malaga for the Giants as well. Andrew Thomas, Michael, he's missed
Yeah,
39 games in the last 3 years. Or no, he
yeah,
missed 19 games. He's missed a lot of games the last few years.
yeah,
I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if he has to slide in a guard to maybe ease the pressure of having to go after those fast edge rushers. Maybe just try to focus on bulking up, staying in the middle.
yeah,
Um, but you got to protect Jackson. You got to protect your quarterback.
definitely.
That's paramount. I know we're waiting
Yeah,
to see who the
we're
Jets.
waiting to see the pick, but who do you think they're going with here? Do you think they got Reese
I think I think it's going to be David Bailey,
or Bailey?
though it's going to cause massive chaos if they take
Do
Arvell
you
Reed.
think it's a quarterback?
The Jets, no.
What's the most bizarre pick they could take? A wideout? That's kind of realistic.
Most bizarre, I would
Most
say
bizarre, that's kind of realistic.
I would say Francis Malaga because they already kind of their tackle
Well, let's
situation is
see.
kind of set.
Here's the commissioner. There it is, John. The Jets select David Bailey. So there you go. 2 for 2. Nice. Um, so there you go. They went and got themselves some of that edge help like we talked about. Looking up, what are your thoughts on Jordan Tyson? Jeremiah's got him going 7th here to the Commanders, which hand up, would hate that, have to say. Not excited about that potentially.
Uh,
They desperately need a wideout, I'd say.
yes, I would agree. However, Michael, that O line is shambolic. The Commanders would benefit greatly, I think, by trading down
Potentially.
and maybe grabbing maybe in the teens like a guard, and then using the rest of these picks to maybe grab these positions of need that they need. Like, because listen, no offense to Jordan Tyson, I think
You're not high on Tyson?
he's not a better prospect than Tet.
Okay.
Ted McMillan, and Ted McMillan was not a better prospect than Drake London. And you're like, why am I saying these guys? I'm talking about these 6'4" athletic freak wide receivers that make these highlight reel catches that played in out west in like the remnants
Do
of the
you
Pac-12 slash
do you think he's the best receiver in the draft? Who's your favorite receiver in the draft between him, Tate, and Lemon?
to me it's Jordan Tyson. I think he's the guy with the most like
Okay.
number one receiver potential. Like, I don't know, like Lemon, like he's like a good number two. I think
Yeah.
Carnell Tate can be a very good number two receiver. The issue is, am I taking a number two receiver with a top 10 pick? The
Well, I
Eagles
mean,
drafted Smitty with the idea of him being the number one receiver. Was AJ Brown was
well,
not here yet.
I know, but I'm sure they had plan. Listen, I just think you need a great receiver, and I think he can be a really good one. And you obviously like Terry's still there and still effective. You just need to start building out a core. You got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? Um, and I think that you know when
I
we talk
think
about
it
like
would be
Justin
smarter
Jefferson in
for
terms
the
of prospect,
Commanders to maybe draft Ruben Bain from Miami. Their pass rush, they
maybe
have
I could see
no pass rush.
defense. Maybe excuse me, maybe Caleb Downs. I think they could use a safety as well pretty heavily. And if he can be a game wrecker for them on defense, that'd be pretty beneficial for him. Jeremiah's next few picks here, he's got Mayaga to the Cardinals after trading back to with the Saints. Has the Chiefs taking Mansour Delane, the cornerback from LSU, and has the Giants rounding out the top 10 with Carnell Tate. Um, so what would you think if the Giants made out with Love and one of the receivers?
Well, Michael, like I don't know. I feel like they, the last time they had two first round picks, they got Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal, and that was a disaster.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. That was was that Joe Shane?
That
That
was
might have
Joe
been
Shane.
that was Joe Shane, huh? I thought it might have been before him. Regardless,
Oh, geez,
yeah,
sorry. I'm watching the draft. They're making They're making David Bailey. He's signing a sports card, probably for Tops because they're
oh
gonna
my
make that like a
God,
chase card. Yeah, it's so annoying, dude.
it's actually the slopification of sports cards has really gotten out of control. The I'll call it the NFTification. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Um, this has the Cowboys taking Caleb Downs, not exciting. Ruben Bain to the Dolphins. Let's talk about the Eagles, and then we can sort of kind of wrap up and enjoy the draft a little bit. The Daniel Jeremiah predicts the Eagles to trade up in the draft, which I could see. I don't think it's impossible.
Mm,
But he has them trading up to to take Caden Proctor, jumping in front of the Lions and swiping Caden Proctor because the Lions' worst kept secret is that they need an offensive lineman. Um, what do you think? Do you think they're going to go O line in the first round tonight? Are they picking in the first round? Are they moving up? Where are you at with all the Eagles' thoughts?
the guy who I think they were going to take tonight. This is who friend of the show Mac mentioned too, because it
The
makes way.
Cardinals.
Don't
God, the
spoil it because
tweets are such whores. I'll say it when they say it on TV.
so he mentioned Keldrick Falk at D end Auburn.
Yeah,
He's like Josh Sweat Jr.
I loved me some Josh Sweat.
Like he's built the exact same way.
What, a little like
He's like 6'5",
tall,
two
but
seventy.
he's
Like
not, yeah, like got a little thinness to him, not like super jacked, like
great bend, but he's a SEC edge rusher. He's not like Derek Barnett, where he's just undersized. Like he's like if we're to build a D end in a lab, it would look like Keldrick Falk, is what I'm saying.
Sure, sure.
You know, and the Eagles'
Here's the
edge rushers,
commissioner.
they're small. I mean, one's a former safety, the other one's was undersized. That's why he fell to the end of the first round, right?
Yeah. Oh,
You
hold
know,
on. There it is. The Arizona Cardinals stay at 3 and select Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. So there you go. They pulled the trigger and got themselves a dynamic running back to go along with their
man.
quarterback. Who's their quarterback? Jacoby Brissett. So,
Who's holding out?
yeah, not ideal, I think, to be a Cardinals fan at
Well,
the moment, but
uh,
a lot
I'm
of
gonna make
people.
it. Well, Michael, I'm gonna just say this: Ty Simpson's gonna be a Cardinal.
Where would you rank the trio, offensive skill trio of Jeremiah Love, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Trey McBride? Give me like top whatever. Top 20?
Only one of those guys is good in the NFL. One just got picked 2 seconds ago. The other guy is who went from Maserati Marv to Mitsubishi Marv.
Oh, that
We're
was
already
the
talking
answer.
about
That was the
fixing.
answer I was hoping for.
We're already talking about fixing Marvin Harrison Jr. Dude, that's sad. And like, I don't know, man. Can I say the Cardinals just suck ass because I don't know, man. Michael Wilson looks good.
Yeah, yeah, no. The Cardinals are not an envious spot right now, but interesting pick there.
I'm gonna say
What are
this
your
though,
other thoughts on the Oh, go ahead.
man. Like, it's just like 2001, dude. Why is he going third overall?
I don't know. I really don't love I think he's a nice player. I think he's a great prospect. The fit just worries me a little bit. We're just like the timeline of the Cardinals at the moment. Um, but we'll see. He's out in the desert. What else you got with the Eagles? Besides, so you um started with Keldrick Falk. What other prospects that you have here?
I have a guy you've probably heard a lot about him, Max Ionaker, the
Mm-hmm.
tackle from Arizona State University. He went viral because he was doing some hand fighting with Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is before all this stuff came out, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He seems a lot like an Eagles, like a guy that the Eagles would draft. And when I say that, I mean dominated at the Senior Bowl. They love linemen that perform well at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Or guys just in general, like Quinyon was dominant in the Senior Bowl practices.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah, they
famously, and
value it. They value their top 30
yeah,
visits,
and like how and like one of Howie's first ever picks was Brandon Graham. He dominated at the Senior Bowl too. Like they love to prioritize guys that kill it at the Senior Bowl, and
Yeah.
he shut down David Bailey when they were doing the one-on-one reps.
Oh, the pick is in for the Tennessee Titans.
The
Um,
Tennessee, this will be Arvel Reese. I will
yeah.
guarantee you.
Do
I
you
think the
think the Sorry, go ahead. I was going to ask before this pick goes in. Do you think the Eagles are staying at 23?
yes, I think they should. I'm going to tell you why. The Eagles have lost so many starters over the last couple years because of free agency, and really haven't done a great job backfilling them from the perspective of they haven't had a lot of picks. I think trading
Yeah.
up, unless you're getting like a game wrecker in this draft, will be a massive mistake. Now, what we don't know is the compensation they're getting potentially for AJ Brown. I'm hoping
Hmm.
it's a first and a third round pick, right? Well,
Yeah.
next year's going to be the draft you want to jump up in because there's so much talent. And Michael, what if the Eagles trade up to get Jeremiah Smith next season?
Whoa. That would be, listen.
A lot of
would
people forgot
definitely help.
about Alshon Jeffrey when AJ Brown came to town. That is all I'm saying. So
Well,
when
I
Smitty came to town.
well, anyways. Do you think there's a shot at them drafting a receiver in this draft?
I
Oh,
don't
day one, sorry, first round.
know. I have this weird feeling. There's here. I'm gonna pull up the receiver list. What? Like they're not taking Denzel Boston. That's like a WIP. Like s- stupid. I don't know why they say that
Yeah,
because they know it's gonna upset people. That's why they're talking about it.
yeah.
Sorry, I want to pull up the big board. I could see them either in the third round or day three. They're going to be looking at guys like Chris Bell, who tore his Achilles back in like November, who's going to fall in the draft.
Hmm.
Um, they're going to look
Oh,
at
hold on. The commissioner is at the desk.
it's going to be Arvell Reese.
Whoa! The
What?
Titans, with the fourth overall pick, select Cornell Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State. Wow, wow,
Wow.
wow,
Well, Michael, this is
wow.
why the Titans suck.
Oh, you don't think Tate's a nice little prospect?
It does make sense if you think about it, but man, does
No,
that kind
listen,
of
they could use a receiver. We talked like for every same reason we were like, oh, Jeremiah Love would fit. A receiver kind of fits in a similar mold. Like
I'm not,
they need just guys for Cam Ward to throw the ball to. Like their receivers last year were nothing spectacular whatsoever. It was didn't they like lead the league in some bizarre stat of like yards left on the field or something like that? Like they definitely need some stability in that room, and maybe he brings it. Maybe he plays himself into more of like he's a bigger body and is reminiscent, I guess, of um you know just
can
bigger
I
bigger frame
can I tell you
receiver.
the wide receiver that I'm most intrigued by who won't be like he would might be had in like the fourth or third round?
Yeah, what do you got?
Ted Hurst from Georgia State.
I've heard.
So he's his comp is like Cortland Sutton. He's
Hmm.
a really athletic, bigger receiver who,
Wow,
believe it.
Giants pick is in very quickly. Uh-oh.
Well, we know who that is. His name rhymes with Barbell Niece.
We'll see.
Great.
But anyways, yeah, Hurst could be a guy. Well, what's he supposed to go in day two or day three?
He there's a lot of receivers ahead of him. This is like a loaded draft at receiver. So
Yeah, it's like
I
loaded without like a blowaway prospect.
right. The Eagles are looking honestly like I there's not a blowaway prospect. I think like what I like about Hurst, he's really athletic. He kind of checks off all the boxes like for a modern NFL wide receiver.
Yeah,
Um, massive, very good route runner. He gets separation everywhere. Like I don't see he's like the small school guy that's like going to come in and it's going to be like, oh wow, this guy's really good.
yeah, yeah. All right, let's wrap up here with the Giants pick, whoever that ends up being, and then we'll give
Our
our
I would
and
be
then and then we'll give our final prediction on who we think the Eagles are going to draft, and then we'll call it.
okay.
Um, Or do you want to do that now? Because they're still talking to the Cardinal Tate. Who is your official prediction for the Eagles' first round draft selection?
I'm going to say with the 23rd pick in the NFL draft, the Eagles select Max Ionaker, offensive tackle, Arizona State. How about you, Michael?
I'm gonna say with the 23rd overall pick, I think after a little bit of a slide, I ultimately do think the Eagles take. They take Caden Proctor. I think they're gonna go with the Alabama route. I think they're going to commercial right now.
I have NFL Network
They
on.
can't be serious. ESPN's going to commercial right now. I mean, the pick is in. That's ridiculous.
Wait, the Chiefs are picking sixth?
Wait, what?
The Chiefs traded
Oh,
up.
the Browns are trading number 6 to the Chiefs. Whoa! Maybe we'll stay for that. Let's stay for that. My goodness. Who said the draft was boring? The Chiefs get the number 6 overall pick. The Browns get 9, which is where the Chiefs were at. 74 and 141.
Caleb Downs is going to be a Kansas City
Yep,
Chief.
yep. Feels like it. Feels like it has to be, honestly.
It's not an offensive lineman, right?
We should they're just probably not good enough to move
Wait,
up 3 spots for him.
Caleb Downs is going to be. Michael. What if the Giants panic and screw this pickup, and then Arvell Reese is available for the Chiefs? Dude, I don't know, man. That's
Do you think? I mean, do you think that's possibility there? I feel
probably.
like the Chiefs wouldn't have done it. I feel like the Chiefs wouldn't have done it unless they kind of knew who the Giants were picking. You know,
I mean, Mansour Delane is is the best corner by far, but
and they did they did lose both of their starting corners to the Rams.
I mean, I don't know if you're rebuilding. I hate to say it, bro. You get the best player that's there. You can't, and then you figure out the other one later.
As the Chiefs, you mean
Yes,
the rebuilding Chiefs? Yeah, I think Downs might be that guy though for them. What if they take a receiver? They won't do that. Probably not. I think
well,
Downs makes the most sense. I think you pillaged your secondary and you need to beef it up a little bit. And I think it would be nice to do it with a guy like Caleb
I could see
Downs.
the Browns drafting Mansour Delane.
What, at 9?
Yeah,
Sure. But I mean, you got to get there. I wonder what they knew. I wonder if they really felt that the Commanders were going to take Downs. Maybe that's what happened. I could see that if the Chiefs end up taking Caleb Downs
what if the
to
Chiefs
worry
shuffle up
about
the
the
sticks to
Commanders.
take Eldrick Falk, the guy I was just hyping up to the Eagles?
And that'd be pretty crazy. Jeremiah has him going. Oh, does he? He's got him going 25 to the Bears. So that'd be about the range. The Eagles picking at 23.
By the
I
way,
actually hate the NFL. I'm sorry, but I can't stand the corporation ad stuff. It drives me insane. There should be zero commercials during the draft. Is
I
that
agree.
crazy? There should be zero commercials. You can talk. It's 8 minutes. The Giants pick's been in for 6 minutes.
By the way, Michael, fun fact about the Carlson and Jeremiah Love. He will make $50.5 million fully guaranteed on his rookie contract, the most guaranteed
Wow.
money ever given to a running back in NFL history.
That is insane. They're doing a military thing.
Geez, Ben Albright in his Intel-based mock had the Eagles trading up to 6 for Francis Malaga. Well, that's not
Interesting.
happening. Oh, I know who the Giants are taking now, and I am not surprised in the least.
Wait a minute. I mean, Jesus, the picks are both out publicly. I mean, Ari Merov tweeted who the Chiefs took already. Arvel Reese to the Giants. There you go. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Also, I mean, the Chiefs pick is in. Did you see who the Chiefs took?
I did see who the Chiefs took. I don't understand why they even bothered trading up.
Yeah, yeah. By the draft pick value chart, it was pretty even. The Browns 1602 and the Chiefs 1600, so slightly
Man,
favoring the Browns.
yeah. They have Arvel Reese listed at edge. It just kind of feels odd. You have Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon
Yeah.
Thibodeau's going to be traded, most likely. Like, he's probably going to play backer. Like, he's going to probably play linebacker. He's going to probably
Yeah,
be
we'll
like
see. We'll see.
their inside linebacker.
Yeah. So the Chiefs, all right, we might as well just say we don't have to wait for the commissioner. We know what's happened. The Chiefs select Mansour Delane, cornerback, LSU. Makes sense. We just talked about it. They traded a lot of they lost their corners, so this helps a lot. But yeah, all right. Well, we're waiting out on the Eagles. We'll see how they land up. We both think they're taking an offensive lineman. Sixers game 3 tomorrow night. Flyers looking for the sweep on Saturday. Maybe the baseball team will win a game.
Maybe.
But we will talk to you guys this weekend. Enjoy the rest of the draft and enjoy some playoff basketball, playoff hockey.
Take it easy, everybody.
We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-Lot Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.